Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Mixtips with Mage. How you doing today? I want to show you a quick way on how to add brightness and clarity to a voice using a parallel mode. This technique really helps vocals cut through in a mix and brings out some really nice character to a vocals. Without further ado, let me show you my technique and how I achieve this kind of brightness for vocals. I will show you the vocals we'll be working on today in the context of this song.
Blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, favor overflow. I know we shout, I know we count. Blessings overflow, your goodness overflow.
I'm sure you can hear some brightness and saturation already in that voice. So what I did is I created a bus. I'm sending out a new bus here in a parallel mode. And this is my bus 11. What I have on that bus is an exciter. I'm using the Aphex vintage exciter. You can use any instance of exciter. I'll just be dialing up the mix to about 9. You could experiment to find a sweet spot for yourself. And I'll also be using the Fabfilter Pro Q4 here. You can use the Pro Q3 or any other parametric EQ. I'm just exaggerating the brightness here. Just trying to boost, I'm just boosting up the brightness for the vocals here. I want it to like cut through. So I'm exaggerating about 6 dB for 10 kilohertz. Thereabouts. I like using the warm settings here. It gives it some really analog character there, and I set this to natural phase in order to not let no frequency phase or mask each other out. Then I'll be using a saturator. I'll be using a instance of the Magma um, BB tubes by Waves. It has the even and odd harmonics as well, just like the Plugin Alliance black box. I'll be dialing the mix knob to about 10%. Nothing too drastic or too much here I need actually, and I won't be using any of the harmonics, but I just need the character of this plugin to add more saturation to that voice for me on the chain. So let's hear the vocals in a cappella without the chain.
Blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, favor overflow. I know we shout, I know we count.
So let's hear it with the plugins on.
Blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, favor overflow. I know we shout, I know we count.
You can hear that brightness already, but that's way too much for a mix. So we have to dial it in to find the sweet spot where we know, yeah, this really sounds good with the vocals and we're fine to go. And we're good to go.
Blessings overflow, your goodness overflow.
So we have to look for a sweet spot now where we know that, yeah, the vocals sound in the pockets of the beat.
Blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, favor overflow. I know we shout, I know we count. Blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, favor overflow. I know we shout, I know we count. Blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, your favor overflow. I know we shout, I know we count. Blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, favor overflow. I know we shout, I know we count. Blessings overflow.
9 dB feels like a sweet spot for these vocals. You can always experiment and see how you want it to sound. And let's also check the plugins out to see what each plugin is actually doing on these vocals. I'm going to bypass the exciter to hear what is actually doing on the vocals.
Blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, favor overflow. I know we shout, I know we count. Blessings overflow, your goodness overflow.
You hear that top excitement is bringing in some harmonics to that voice already. Now adding the Pro Q4, which is just boosting up the 10K region of the vocals.
Blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, favor overflow. I know if you shout, I know if you count, blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, your favor overflow. I know if you shout, I know if you count,
Let's see what the magma is doing.
blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, favor overflow. I know if you shout, I know if you count, blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, your favor overflow.
So all together with the beat.
Blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, favor overflow. I know if you shout, I know if you count, blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, your favor overflow.
And again, one last tip is if you feel that is too brittle or too harsh on your vocals, you can always use a spectral suppressor. I'll be using the Speccraft here to actually cut off some of those sharpness and to like make the resonance very, very smooth here. So what I'm doing here is just cutting out the compensation on the plugin.
Blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, favor overflow. I know if you shout, I know if you count, blessings overflow, your goodness overflow.
You can hear how the Speccraft actually made that top end very smooth and very pleasing to the ears now.
Blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, favor overflow. I know if you shout, I know if you count, blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, your favor overflow. I know if you shout, I know if you count, blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, your favor overflow. I know if you shout, I know if you count, blessings overflow, your goodness overflow, favor overflow. I know if you shout, I know if you count.
That's a quick way on how to add extra brightness and clarity to your vocals. Thanks for watching.